Here we are. This is the Now Ascension. We are talking about the Ascension energies, and my next guest says we are already here. We just need to tune in and experience it. Sandra Walter joins us again. She says we have already shattered the old self. The truth is being revealed, and we are experiencing great shifts in consciousness in this now moment. Sandra says that we have entered into a new light, a new state of being, and that we are literally rewriting our consciousness as we merge with our multidimensional self. Ascension Wayshower and Gatekeeper Sandra Walter is here sharing an update on these energies. And what we love about Sandra, if you're new to her work, she truly lives her personal ascension experience. And by sharing with us, she paves the way for each of us, making it a bit easier on our personal journeys as she shares some great knowledge and what she calls her intel from the higher realms. Sandra Walter, thank you so much. Welcome back to Healing Conversations.
Oh, blessing, beloved sister. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm honored.
We are excited to have you here, and you are excited too. We can just feel your energy, Sandra. It is beautiful. Tell us what's going on. The whole backside of my head is buzzing right now.
Oh, goodness. We are in the energies of 2015 are dead set on alignment, and as we accelerate and accelerate and accelerate through this beautiful year of mastery, it is intense at times, and by intense, we mean we're really feeling it, very palpable, but more than the symptoms and the side effects of the energy and the changing magnetics and these magnetic anomalies that we're starting to experience and Gaia is experiencing, more than that, we are really experiencing a strong sense of the change in our consciousness, the shift in our consciousness itself to this multidimensional state of beingness. And if you like, I can share the phases of ascension that are currently available to our beloved light tribe, if you like.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's, okay, along this path of mastery that we have already pre-designed and we're just experiencing, of incarnating and embodying the cosmic Christed states of beingness, the higher levels of our true self. There is a phase of the process where you hit a feeling of melancholia. Now, many in the collective experience this for prolonged periods of time. So let us be very clear and direct about this phase of ascension. Firstly, let's not mistake it for depression. Depression is a construct which affects the mind, ego, and emotions, and it can hold one back from higher states of consciousness. That's not what we're referring to. What we're referring to is the state that many masters seek to achieve. It is a necessary step in the ascension, in the expansion of consciousness. It's the state of melancholia, non-attachment, which leads us to pure presence. Now, it is complemented by the current energy aimed at wiping away all of the old self. That is the target of these energies that are coming onto the planet right now. They just happen to be in a wave in this now moment, and they're coming more and more frequently. I can barely keep up with the intel that's coming up. We're in the phase now, and then it's just a couple days off, and there's another one. So it's getting very consistent, very in the now moment, very parallel to our own experience of the now. And this energy that's aimed at a bare minimum, breaking through the patterns and belief systems of the old self in order to experience the higher true self. Understand that this phase is purposeful. This state of detachment, it may be experienced as a listlessness or a lack of interest in anything external. Understand that it is a vital step in ascension, and know that this is not the final step. It is an interim phase which serves to put us in touch with the 0-point presence or true self, the core of our beingness. It is the in this world but not of it sensation that we have been foretold for a long time was coming. And we're still able to function in these lower realities, go to work, interact with people, carry out our grounded tasks. However, we're not stimulated by the lower reality any longer because the structures that were entertained by the lower reality no longer have control over our life stream when we reach this level. So there's no more interaction with that. And if you are in that phase of your ascension process, know that this phase is purposeful. It teaches you pure presence if you embrace the change that is occurring within your consciousness. I know that many folks get distracted by the body vehicle, and it's fine to experience those changes. Those are very strong right now. However, the shift in our consciousness, the unity, the multidimensional self, is the goal. So if you're on the ascension path and you're experiencing a lack of passion or listlessness, a boredom, or you feel you're missing something, you're actually experiencing that gap loss of the old self and new self in between. In the past, masters would go into caves or deep meditation or long fasts in order to get into that state of ultimate detachment from the external reality. And the old teachings told us that we had to give up everything in order to experience connection with the divine. And it used to be about material things and a complete surrender of all attachment. Now, when you achieve detachment from the lower levels of the mind, ego, emotions, you attain this state of divine melancholia. The external reality as a stimulus for your experience is no longer there. It's a wonderful phase in this ascension process because you will witness your own self-realization, your own self-empowerment, the self-empowerment within, that stillness within the void, the gap between the old self and the new self, stepping completely in. And understand that this is needed and powerful for your process in our modern application of ascension. We are dealing with many more factors. We're not hiding out in retreats any longer, experiencing the mystery schools up in the middle of nowhere. And the experience of being capable of handling your lower reality and your higher reality, stepping in at the same time from this state of stillness within, very potent right now. For some, letting go of the old self means changing jobs, changing friends, changing locations, and going on for a while. However, in the advanced stages of ascension, the external reality is not going to have an effect on the emerging true higher Christ itself that is stepping forth. We're embodying levels of source consciousness, prime creator beingness that are a brand new experience to the body and to the lower self. And it does feel very different from the old reality. Everyone witness that. Witness the changes within yourself. It's very important to share that experience with all levels, layers, dimensions of you, with Source itself. Feel that. Sometimes the thing that frightens people about this phase is when the gap between old self dying off and the new self stepping in becomes too long or too frustrating. For some people, it turns into depression because they feel the loss. They feel they have no interest in creating the new, and the old self doesn't make sense any longer. But when the loss gap starts to get uncomfortable, that is when the pure, true lessons can emerge. Pure lessons of self-acceptance and self-confidence and self-realization, the true self-love, true love of Source as self begin to present. It's during that experience that the higher self has an opportunity to take over the life stream and rewrite the lower consciousness in alignment with the true self. It is actually a very good place to be because it allows for the opportunity to transmute any remaining worthiness issues, self-love issues frustrations with the lower reality because we cannot be attached to that external in an emotional way or an egoic way in order to transcend it, in order to transform it, in order to ascend. And it does lead to divine neutrality if you learn to embrace that void and be okay with the deep transition occurring in the expression of you. Lower levels always buck a little bit at first. When you hit your own stride, you hit that level in your ascension process, you're able to have a different perspective on what is occurring. And as with any of these new experiences of the new paradigm, it is our willingness to have the experience, to anchor it for the collective, for ourselves, transcend the old light dynamics, old light belief systems, and accelerate our progress to the next level on behalf of the collective, on behalf of our own journey. The experience of the pure presence of that stillness, of your true self, allows you to witness the transition of the reality around us. I know for a long time we've been speaking of the absence of 3D and how our perception is catching up to the reality, the shift which occurred at the end of 2012. Now that the collective reality has gained momentum and the energies coming onto the planet support that realization that 3D is actually gone, we're getting a true sense of how fabricated, co-created that external reality is. The collective construction of the illusion, which continues to run on autopilot because we are all creator incarnate, so together we create things that we don't even want anymore sometimes. So co-creation of the collective is just now being broken apart, actually witnessing that, and changed because so many have embraced the ascension process, the levels of love, and are leveling up their consciousness to experience the new, profound levels of light and the dimensional consciousness, the merge, the more cosmic, unified state of beingness. And it is a collective higher reality, which is just breaking apart the lower illusion in a very rapid way this year. It's beautiful. Does that make sense?
Yes, and hallelujah. That's wonderful that we can really see that external reality was fabricated. Yes, hallelujah.
Yeah, I mean, we're there. It's just every time we hit these higher and higher states of our own process, there's always the hallelujah moment of, oh my gosh, we're there, because we've foreseen it. It's been foretold for so long, and then when you hit it, all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're there. Okay, that's beautiful. Now, in addition to all of that, that's one phase that some people are going through, and I'll get to the next phase after that in a moment. But in addition to that, the energy itself right now is flattening people. Many of us are experiencing hours or even days of immobility. Now, I'm not talking about dis-ease or disharmony within the body, but these deep rewrites of consciousness itself, the particles of consciousness which make up your expression, amplified by the current waves of energy coming onto the planet, can be very intense to the body vehicle. It's not something that we focus on, but, holy moly, some days you just need to lie down. Currently, we have waves of light coming in that are activating codes within the bones. Last year it was blood, this year it's bones, which means you feel incredibly youthful one day and like you're 150 years old the next. Again, it forces us to be so present with these beautiful, powerful energies of 2015 that are all focused, all about teaching us the upper levels of our mastery, of presence, of acceptance, of transformation, and what the pure and true ascension is really about. A lot of the old light constructs or teachings are not going to make sense anymore. This is a profound transformation of our consciousness. We're going very quickly now. It is also transforming the physical at the same time. Understand this has not been done before. It is brilliant that we are both witnessing and experiencing this evolution of our consciousness into true creator beingness in such an amazingly conscious way. And we don't want to get lost in the weirdness of the energy or the experience itself. It's wonderful to experience this, of course. However, if you're getting frustrated with the loss gap phase, the passage of melancholia, understand that until you find peace with the presence of divine love, and that is what that is about, you're unable to move forward. It is a step. It is purposeful, because we cannot embrace our true mastery and these higher states of divine love without it. It's a step. It's a pure source being, this unconditional love that creates that space, that thrives in that space of stillness and rewrites your consciousness within that absolute presence. Now, when you've learned to be in absolute presence and desire that expansion into the cosmic mind of God, the heart of God, that state of absolute presence in stillness, and it will feel like a craving. You get a taste of it and you just want more because it's so beautiful, it's so pure right now. And that desire for expansion into that state of pure presence, that's when you're ready and capable of moving into the next phase. And in the next phase includes that stillness. It's still there, but it integrates that pure love flowing through the heart center, the Christ itself stepping forth, which connects you with all levels of your true self, the multidimensional self, and all that is. So the next phase allows for a multidimensional merge of consciousness. This is something that I'm experiencing right now for the last few months in a very strong way. Now, when you get into the stillness, the still point, and are able to begin to experience the true multidimensional self, as these multidimensional merge sequences become more frequent, and they are deeply transformative, and they are very difficult to describe. It's something that you experience, and because it is something that is not grounded in a linear time continuum, it's very fifth dimension and beyond. Because we're desiring that and integrating that stillness, as these sequences become more frequent, more powerful, more clear, you begin to receive a huge influx of creative ideas, expressions, and intuitive information and activities, ideas, which are in alignment with the new true self. It is the lower levels that want to be busy, because the old reality was very busy. It was very grounded in the busyness. And that busyness was attached to your worthiness, your self-worth, your value in society, your value in your family, all of those old constructs. Now, in the new light, service is not so much about the doing, it's about the being. We've heard that for a while. Now it's welcoming forth that light in unique expressions that are in alignment with your oversouls, your interdimensional purpose. No one is interested in recreating what was done in the past. And while we are still experiencing external realities that are based on linear planning or agendas, there is the divine emergence of new consciousness that is based in creativity, true creator beingness. And as we move into unity consciousness, we realize that some of those ideas are for the collective mind. If you're getting the influx of all those creative ideas, it's stimulating. You're unifying with the higher and higher levels of the oversoul level of humanity, the I Am presence, the Christ itself, the cosmic mind, true creator beingness. So some people might waver between having this influx of ideas and then thinking or believing that those ideas are meant for them and them alone, that some part of their purpose or their service, and then they feel a sense of responsibility or overwhelm or not enough time, and then they go back into the previous phase in order to experience the stillness and realignment, understanding that this is about source stepping forth. It's not about busyness. That can be very frustrating. So make sure that you're paying attention here and understanding and that you must experience that stillness, that presence, in order to tap into the collective, pure unity consciousness. Then when you begin to tap into unity consciousness, there will be impulses that come through that make you feel sometimes like you have a grandiose mission, or it may appear that you need to reach thousands of people with your service. What you're actually experiencing is unity consciousness. Congratulations. The collective that is ascending in this now moment, that is the thousands of people that you're connecting with, millions on the planet. So as you use your consciousness, fuse your consciousness with the collective humanity or the cosmic galactic collective, you will apply that deep peace that is attained in the melancholia phase to this new phase of the influx of creativity and create a unique expression of pure source consciousness in your own authentic, genuine way. And your higher self, your higher levels will insist and direct you to express in a brand new way. The lower levels can't make sense of it. The lower levels will not be involved. They may push back against the higher self takeover. However, this is our evolution. This is where the surrender comes in. This is where we are going. This is the pure, true ascension. This becoming one with that solar, cosmic, Christed state of beingness. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And it's amazing because I'm sure we each have our stories to share on how we've witnessed that in our own lives. Just last week, was it Friday, a thunderstorm rolled by, and I heard the birds and heard the thunder and the storm, and I got very creative in that moment just by recording that thunderstorm and playing my little happy drum alongside of it. That was an amazing expression in the moment with no worry or no agenda. That's precisely what you're talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it is those personal expressions, those little moments, and we're very connected. When we move into these Christed states of beingness, we're connected with all the kingdoms, all the elementals, the planets, the cosmos, all that is, the higher realms. Everything fuses together, and we become this beautiful, gracious expression of love, of pure source and pure presence. And it is those little impulses, those little intuitions that we follow that lead us into those deeper, peaceful states of interconnectedness with the kingdoms and that pure creation. It feels extremely authentic, very genuine, and it will not present in ways that have anything to do with the collective sometimes. It's not about, the experiencing what you experience present with a thunderstorm, becoming one with the thunderstorm, playing the happy drum and becoming one with the kingdoms and the elementals in that moment, and you're not going to go and, share it with the collective. That is your own unique anchoring. Now, for a long time, light servers and light workers have been into the assistant sharing of our experiences over and over again. And as we come out of that phase, it gets deeply personal. And this next 5 months is going to be a passage of time where we are anchoring these deep multidimensional merge sequences in our own private, unique way. And just for clarity, this is not about, non-judgment of the external. The states of stillness with this pure presence doesn't include any judgment or attachment to what is happening in the external. It is what it is. It's a deep understanding of where we are going, of how direct our influence is on the external reflection of the internal reality. When you honor and fall in love with everything in existence, which is that state of Christed consciousness that is stepping forth, you're able to interact with your reality, your greater state of beingness from within, that purity, Some of us are experiencing this as we come out of meditation or dream state. We're witnessing the external reality rebuild itself out of nothingness. You may come out of the meditation where everything is pure light and pure beingness, and then you open your eyes and witness the walls and furniture and everything around you rematerializing. This happened to me on Shasta as well, where the trees and nature itself had to reconstruct around me, because we're witnessing, this is giving us a deep sense and representation of how flexible our external reality is, how collective agreements present in our reality, and how we're moving into a deep understanding of our own consciousness and its ability to influence our external reality, not control it. When we say we're creating our own mystery schools in our own life stream, this is what we are talking about. This revelation phase takes all the catchphrases and the buzzwords and turns them into these deeply profound realizations of what Creator expressing as form and unified consciousness in the vibration of love truly means. And that peace within those moments where you're just in that pure flow. And 2015 is all about alignment. If it doesn't happen in this moment, give it a minute or two and you're back in the flow. It's very precise. And the same is true for mind chatter. It should be different. You know, the mind chatter of, I should be busy, I should be doing something, I want to create this, the energy isn't matching, what am I doing wrong? All of that flotsam of the old energy, just use the so it is if you're having difficulty quieting the mind. That peace within becomes a magnet for more of the same, and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sensing that some folks are having difficulty with the kind of psychological level, and the psychological fallout, which is a term that my higher levels, the royal we, which has occurred in the last couple of months, is just really quite astounding. We had written about the psychological fallout often because it was a concern when we hit this phase that many minds or levels of consciousness would not be able to properly interpret what was occurring and start to create confusion within the brain and the emotional levels, which would knock people off their center, get them a little spun out. Again, this is why the stillness, the boredom of the void is so important. Some people just getting bored. They're like, wow, the stillness is just like, wow, I don't know what to do. It's so important because it shows you that you are capable of that inner peace. You know, source, God, has no worries. You're experiencing pure source consciousness, that inner peace, the detachment of mastery. It teaches us the incredible patience with ourselves and the external reality. You know, the higher self is not interested in survival or your job or your social life or your social media or how many people are visiting your website. It is only interested in serving the over-soul agenda. Many people have had the soul merge, the soul release to the over-soul agenda of anchoring profound levels of love into this reality. All of us hitting this level of ascension, going through and leveling up during these equinox to eclipse gateways of the last couple of years, are becoming fully self-realized in a conscious way. It's extremely profound, very difficult to describe. I hope I'm doing an okay job. And when you hit the step in your process where nothing makes sense but service, you realize it's not about this grounded busyness of service, or what we can provide for the collective, or oh my gosh, we have to wake all these people up. All of that right now, it's not the phase for that. It is the higher cosmic agenda of a universal and galactic rewrite of consciousness, a new paradigm that you are in service to as prime creator, as pure source light beingness, regardless of what the grounded self is going through. Now, when you attach to what is going on and try to get the mind around it, it can cause frustration or confusion and chaos in the life stream. But when you feel it through the heart, everything, through the solar, cosmic, Christed heart center where your divine neutrality is birthed from. When you feel it through the heart and embrace the love that is so pure, that is coming through you, totally available to everyone on the planet, then when you realize yourself as that pure love and that pure source beingness and witness the unveiling of your unique expression of truth, you will lift these self-imposed veils that are left on your consciousness. Now, granted, there's as many realities and versions of the truth on the planet as there are people. It is the level of unity in divine love which honors and respects and has compassionate detachment, neutrality, about what the external is experiencing or what your own internal reality is capable of or not capable of. Understand that the solar, cosmic, Christed state of beingness, this pure unity that all of us are talking about right now, is the pure, true ascension, and it is all-consuming. That frightens some people because nothing will be left of the old self except the holographic projection of a life stream that has unified with higher realms of consciousness. Quite bizarre, beautiful. It may be disturbing or uncomfortable for people who have shared your life stream up until now to be around that, to be around your new self stepping forth. And while we care very much for the people who have loved us in the past or a family monad, it is not our responsibility to carry them through the shift. This is not about preaching or converting or attempting to change others in a forceful way. Right now, for the next 5 months, it is our pure focus to level up as much as possible, experience as much of our own self-realization and self-empowerment as possible in order to take full advantage of the cosmic triggers that are in place already there, already happened technically, just experiencing it, to create the highest outcome, the highest possibilities for the ascension of consciousness. There are still several infinite possibilities for how this unfolds. Nothing is set in stone. That's old light. Right here, right now is where this occurs. Not about projecting or setting events or dates into the future. The experience is happening right now to thousands of people on the planet. And it's quiet and it's beautiful. Yes, we're trying to express it, but it's something that is barely expressible in a grounded sense. You know, we barely have the terminology to encapsulate the experience. But the work of creating that space for others to step into whenever they are ready, everyone is entitled to their ascension process. The work of creating that space, the way showers, the gatekeepers, the light workers, the light servers, have created a space for others to step into whenever they are ready. That has already been accomplished. We are not holding those gateways open in this grounded effort any longer. The gateways are open. They have unified with the higher realms, and that is why we are experiencing these higher states of consciousness this year, higher levels of light. And we have granted the permission for the higher realms, which are us in a higher multidimensional space, to send incredible support, light, unification into the collective and Gaia right here, right now. It will get more intense as does everything in the ascension during this incredible passage. The recommendation is getting as much as you can out of this presence, as much as you can as the energy can provide for you. This phase of unity, when the creative ideas start flowing, is your initiation into the unified, collective, creative part of Source. Try not to individuate or take responsibility for all of those creative ideas, or you will burn yourself out. You know, careful with the mind levels. This is a passage to be present and, yes, very creative in small, beautiful, unnoticed by the external. That's where it's at right now. Nobody even knows about it. It's just so deeply personal and unified at the same time. It does serve the collective ascension to engage with it in that way. And I'm hoping that everyone can sense that in the now moments, that pure presence that is not concerned with things that happened or about to happen, there's nothing there but the pure moment and that pure beingness. That energy is just there. There's nothing to do with it. That is, if you need a sense of accomplishment, breathe into it and feel it. Just as you ease into it, you feel the emptying out of the old consciousness. It's fine to surrender the old self. Don't worry about the survival levels. It's just these in-between states. It's not another decade of melancholia, if anyone's concerned about that. It's just a period of adjustment that we're going through on our way to the creative flood with the multidimensional merge. Creativity phase is also not concerned with busyness. It's divine timing, co-creation, a good deal of flow as the energies become more acute in order to teach us alignment in the absolute now, in the absolute flow, and embracing states of divine perfection means that everything's got to fall into place. The creativity phase can be very stimulating after experiencing the void, and for some people that experience that void, emptying out, may stretch for a long time in order to teach them how to be absolutely present and okay with themselves, okay with the experience, okay with their ascension, in order for them to level up. The stimulation of unity consciousness can feel overwhelming, especially when the energies are the way they are right now. But it is important to remember that this is not a passage of busyness. It's a passage of embodiment. We're doing it on behalf of the entire planet, the entire all of humanity. It is not egoic. It is not some superhuman feat. It's just being, just understanding what that service is. And it does look different from the old light. It looks different from old services, and it feels different from anything we have experienced prior to this. I know it makes some people feel comfortable to say, oh yes, okay, 2 years ago I experienced that, and now this is just more of the same. Understand that it is new. It's a different level altogether. So we need to pay attention and hold that space for our own development within, and understand that a space has been created by those who were able to embrace and hold these higher levels of light, so that everyone can now, within this human heart grid that we have, this beautiful presence that we have on the planet of awakened hearts willing and able to take on these higher states of consciousness, already there. You may feel like you don't match the reality around you, because in fact you do not. The boredom is the detachment from the illusion, and this doesn't last forever. Just let the lack of energy if you're experiencing that, or the listlessness if you're experiencing that, or the slowing experience of presence where time stops or feels endless despite the clock whizzing by on some hours. Just let it be, breathe into it, and understand that this is where we are at right now, and it's beautiful. And in the grand scheme of things, you spent a couple 100,000 years on the planet. Some of you longer, some of you shorter. These couple of years of the shift is nothing, and 5 months is nothing. No, we certainly can focus and pay attention for that long. Does that make sense, Lauren?
Yeah, so for the next 5 months, here we go. We can really realize this when we go into that stillness and reach for that divine love that's within us, and then be in that flow and watch the divine timing. Yes, okay. Well, there are some questions coming in, so I will get to those, but I want to let you finish. So thank you. More to your update, though.
Yeah, and understand that when we talk about time frames or cosmic triggers, I am in no way associated with any of the event talk or disclosure talk or anything like that. I want that to be clear, because this is something that is occurring right now. It's not in 5 months something will come onto the planet. It's happening right now. When I refer to a time frame of 5 months, it's been 2 years of working through these very powerful gateways, and the last one just happens to end in September. That doesn't mean the end of a lot of people experiencing like a cutoff, I feel there's a cutoff, and people who haven't, caught the train or running for the train kind of thing, and a lot of people having those dreams of, trying to get more people on the train, et cetera. There's no need to panic, because Ascension itself needs to be approached from a pure desire and not from any state of fear. Certainly not, because it just won't work. You can't be flailing with the survival level and embrace an ascension process. It doesn't work. So right now, this multidimensional merge that is occurring is getting so acute and so profound, and I apologize that I don't have proper words to embrace all that it is. It's like describing the mind of God. It's everything within the heart center all at once. We're getting a sense of self as universe, self as cosmos, a real unity with Source itself, and also our purpose here, the death of the old self. You may even have dreams of dying during this phase because it's quite palpable to experience what the body is going through, and some days it can be disconcerting because you do feel so dragged down by the energy, and then the next moment you're off on a bike ride. It's a very in the moment flow. But that's where we are right now, and it's not something that's being projected into a date into the future. This is happening right now. When it comes to embodying the Christ, happening right now through the divine feminine, especially, and that's just part of the plan, the agenda, in order to bust apart old belief systems about what the Christ is, or what a master is like, or what a guru is like. It's just a further step in dispelling old belief systems, and that has nothing to do with judgment. And of course, divine masculine expressions that are balanced with their divine feminine are experiencing that as well. And it's not about boy versus girl. It's the feminine state of beingness, masculine state of beingness is something that everyone has within them. And when we achieve that balance, that's when it starts stepping through. It's the divine feminine has the ability to hold space and to keep quiet about it and be unwavering. It's just something that if you want to look upon the last 26,000 years, we've been heavily trained for this moment to be able to work in these very private, very quiet, very strong, very powerful ways. And that is where it's at. It may be disappointing for some people not to hear from your channels, your teachers, your conduits, people who have been guiding consistently through the ascension, and some channels just kind of dropping off, some teachers backing off, because that is where we're at. It's not about the dizziness. It's about fully anchoring these deeper states of pure source beingness. And again, a lot of the time the external doesn't make sense. The external is what it is, and you're just like, okay, I'm just going to let it be. Gosh, there's plenty of material out there to get people to this phase. Okay, we're just going to be, all of my personal activities are very, so I'm very selective about what I do with my energy, about what I do with my live stream at this point, because I'm deeply realize and understand, and I'm witnessing these changes, these rewrites in my consciousness that feel completely different. I understand that I am completely different month to month as we go through this year, and it's something that's difficult to describe. It also dispels the belief systems. How come you don't look different? How come you don't sound different? That kind of thing. It is what it is. You can't attach to other people's judgments of your process at all. All we need to do is anchor this energy in these new ways and express it in these new ways, these little creative ways that may not make sense to the people around us, may not make sense to a large portion of the collective, but at this phase in our mastery, it does not matter. Just has no weight whatsoever. Doesn't matter.
Don't worry about being judged or embarrassed or people rolling their eyes at you. This is
we're so beyond that. Yeah, so over that. It's been, a couple of years for some people, like, whatever. It just
good. I know there
matter.
are so many out there that are still, still feeling this and wanting to move forward, but still feeling shy of others, thinking it's woo-woo. But again...
and understand, Ascension includes your spiritual coming out. We wrote about that in 2008. It's 2015, folks, get out of the closet. But that's a very important, there's still people who can't tell their own spouse about their experience or just shy, she doesn't understand, my friends don't understand. That does not matter. This is about taking down your own veils. If you want the progress, if you want the true and pure ascension, you've got to put your focus off of the external into the internal, and then come forth as your true self. And your true self, higher self, is not concerned about any longer about stepping off the planet. It's not, they're going to kill me. All of those old scars about expressing yourself have been fully transmuted. We're so far beyond that. But if you are still lingering there, get on the train. Let's go. It's much easier. It's difficult. I know we talk about the body a lot, and it's like, oh my gosh, some days you're just crawling from activity to activity. And for people who are not engaged in Ascension, they're like, Ascension looks terrible. Why is this? Transforming your body and your consciousness, and it's so much work and everything. It's like, yes, but the rewards, oh my goodness, the revelations that come, the experiences that come, and it's so consistent now. Trust the brothers and sisters that are stepping forth into these higher levels. It is astonishing. Fascinating, beautiful. That will relieve all of the boredom of the void. Trust me. Absolutely amazing.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we're going to leave some time for some questions. We're coming out at about an hour in this program. And you were talking that this really is the multidimensional merge of consciousness. So before we get to the questions, this is a great time to talk about your Master Course online healing retreat, which is on the multidimensional merge of consciousness. So this is over 3 parts. And tell us what we're going to work on here. This is really putting the full focus on the internal and merging this.
Yes, because it's what is occurring it's what's available right now. So I spent 6 weeks offline during the last equinox to eclipse gateway, and I received these deep revelations and this beautiful, profound information, and it's not like a typical activation or something like that. I don't want anyone to think it's like that. What it is a deep understanding and a way to get to experience the multidimensional merge and understand on a deeper level exactly what that model is based on, what the torus field interaction is. I had my higher levels for stepping in with like Greek mathematics. It was quite intense, but we've straightened it all out, and we've pulled together a way to present it that makes sense and is applicable in the energy right now. We're just ready for it. It's something that I've been teaching through the class, but now there is a level where we can focus on this and really expand people into these higher levels of consciousness. And the energy is there, the material is there, the intel is there, and it's just so supported right now I'm excited because I'm finally able to explain, tie it all together, and enable people to experience that in a much easier, much faster way, you know, if they're ready for it. So it's going to be an intensive, you know, we have 3 weekends, 3 sessions of an intensive focus on what's occurring right now, the multidimensional merge, how to experience that, what it's based on, the geometry that goes with it, the new light geometry. This was not some kind of old light Merkaba type thing. It's the now. It's what we're evolving into. So it's exciting. It's very exciting to be releasing that, and for me personally to be able to step forward and go, okay, I've been feeling that this is coming for a while, and all of a sudden the timing was there, and it's now. You know, now's the time to do it. So it's exciting.
It is exciting. Thank you so much for that. I know since we did something around the equinox, that was really where you were starting to feel this. So you are on the other side. I get chills just talking about it.
Yeah, that was powerful. That was a really powerful session that we had, and I was, you know, I was starting to enter into the equinox gate already. So thank you for having faith in me to be focused and coherent. But the energy coming through was like, whoa! It was really really incredible. So I'm very excited for the next workshop, that series of 3, the mastery class. It's very excited. Thank you.
Great. Okay. All right. Well, you also have your special offer for the Ascension course, and that is on the special offer button. So there's 2 ways that people can work with you. And before we take questions, can you say there's no prerequisite or anything? People can start anywhere along the line. Why would someone want the Ascension course ahead of this master course?
Well, the Ascension course is laid out for all levels of the process. So no matter where you are in your process, you can jump in. You know, some of it might feel like a review, and then some of it gets into stuff that may be more esoteric. It's a very grounded version of teaching. So it's something that you're able to integrate very quickly. I actually updated the entire class, all the videos. You know, it's several modules. In order to align with this new light, and a bit of a precog on our behalf to get the multidimensional merge sequences in there and the transcendent sequences in there that are coming in 2015. But if folks are already in the class, the mastery weekends that we're planning to do with Loren will just intensify that process. Might be fun to engage with even more material. If you're not in the class and you just want to do the mastery thing, you know, take the mastery class and see how you feel. If you're like, oh my God, I was so not ready for that, you know, go back and pick up the class. You know, we're going to offer them together. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that. Really wonderful. And if you're interested, there's a link to the online healing retreat on this page, and there's also a link to the special offer of the Ascension course. Thank you, Sandra. Okay, here's the fun part. We're going to interact with folks, and there's some questions coming in on the webcast.